Imagine this. You are standing in front of a mirror looking straight at yourself. The first question that arises is not, what do I want to have, but rather, who am I becoming? Because success, my friend, is not something we chase after, run toward, and end up breathless. Success is something we attract by becoming the kind of person that success is drawn to. I, Jim Rohn, was once a 25-year-old young man, broke empty of confidence with nothing but two bare hands. And in that moment, I was like many others, only wishing circumstances would change, only hoping luck would knock on my door. But then a sentence from my great mentor, Earl Schoaf, changed my entire life, Jim. If you want things to change, you must change. If you want things to get better, you must get better. Success, after all, does not lie in circumstances nor in the cards you are dealt. Success begins with the person you are becoming. And in today's journey, I will share with you the core principles to become a magnet that attracts success. Not through luck, but through disciplined training and the right mindset. Prepare yourself for a profound journey, because each principle here is not just advice, but a mini chapter, small chapters that can rewrite the entire book of your life. Part 1, personal story and lesson from Mr. Show Off. Let me take you back to the year I was 25 years old. At that time, I was so poor that I didn't even have a few coins in my pocket. I worked hard but could hardly see a future. Day after day, I sat in an empty room asking myself, could it be destiny that I am meant to live my whole life in poverty? Perhaps you have also felt that way, working endlessly, yet the results go nowhere. You look at others and ask yourself, why are they successful while I am not? I was trapped in that vicious circle for many years until one fateful moment happened. I met my great mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf. Right? In our very first conversation, he said, a sentence that woke me up as if struck by lightning, Jim. If you want things to change, then you must change. If you want things to get better, then you must get better. At that moment, I realized the truth. All this time, I had just been sitting there waiting for life to change, while in fact, I myself was the root of the problem. I blamed circumstances, blamed the government, blamed the job, blamed luck. But I had never dared to look straight into the mirror and admit the one who needed to change was myself. And from that day, I decided to step into a new journey, the journey of personal development. I began reading books every day, attending seminars, listening to cassette tapes. Yes, back then there was no YouTube like now, and more importantly, I spent time observing and learning from successful people. Little by little, I changed. And the miracle happened. Opportunities came to me, new relationships appeared, and the doors of success gradually opened. Not because the outside world had changed, but because I had become a different person. You see, this is the foundational principle. You do not chase success. You become the kind of person that success itself comes looking for. Ask yourself right now, are you waiting for circumstances to change before you begin to truly live? Or are you ready to change yourself to become the version that attracts success? Because my friend, success is not about luck. It is about who you become. And my journey is the clearest proof. From an empty-handed young man, I built the career, the finances, and the life I always dreamed of, thanks to one single turning point, daring to change myself. My story is not to boast, but to let you know this. If I could do it, you can do it too. Anyone can become a magnet that attracts success as long as they start from the right beginning, working on themselves first. So before I share with you the other principles, I want you to remember this very first lesson. Success is not something we seek outside. It begins with the change within ourselves. Part 2, setting clear goals and the power of direction. Have you ever driven a car without knowing where you were going? You just let the car run, turning randomly at every intersection. In the end, you go around in circles and return to the starting point, wasting only gas and time. The lives of many people are just like that. They live without a clear destination. Success never comes with vagueness. It comes to those who know exactly what they want and commit to paying the necessary price. The destination is what separates a wanderer from someone on a purposeful journey. I remember when I first started my career, I was once a wanderer. I worked hard, but the results never turned out as I wanted. Why? Because I had no clear goals. I only hoped that things would get better. I would have more money, but I never dared to write down specifically how much money, for what purpose. Mr. Schoaf taught me one of the most important lessons, Jim, don't. Just wish, write it down, draw a very specific picture of what you want. And he asked me to write down my goals for the next 5 years. At first, I was confused because I had never seriously thought about the future. But then I wrote them down to have a small house, a good car, a full savings account, and more importantly, financial freedom to take care of my family. When I wrote them down, something strange happened. I felt as if there was a compass in my mind. Every decision, every choice I considered, does this bring me closer to my goal or pull me farther away? That clarity changed the entire way I lived. You see, goals are not just about what you want, but they are the guidance system for every action. If you don't have goals, you will live life according to someone else's wishes. But if you have clear goals, you become the one holding the steering wheel. There is one thing you need to remember: success has its price. Do you want to achieve your goals? You must pay with time, effort, discipline, and sometimes even sacrifice. But don't worry, because the price is always smaller than the reward received. Ask yourself, if I asked you right now, what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? Could you answer clearly, specifically, and with inspiration? If not, are you willing to spend today, tonight, to write down your goals? Do not take this lightly. Take pen and paper, write down 5 things you truly want to achieve. It doesn't need to be many, it just needs to be clear. Because clarity creates action, and action creates results. I have witnessed countless people fail simply because they did not know what they wanted. They go to work, get paid, pay the bills, then go back to work, repeating endlessly, like a car going in circles with no destination. But those who clearly know their goals, they learn patience, they learn discipline, and one day success comes to them as an inevitable result. My friend, if you don't have goals, you will become an extra in someone else's dream. But if you do have goals, you become the author of your own life. So the second principle I want to give you is this: set clear, specific, inspiring goals and make them the compass that guides your every action. Part 3, the power of discipline and perseverance. There is a bridge between goals and achievements. That bridge is called discipline. And on the journey across that bridge, your feet need perseverance, so you won't quit halfway. You know, when I first started setting goals for my life, I was very excited. Every day I wrote plans, read books, listened to cassette tapes, and worked nonstop. But after only a few weeks, the initial excitement began to fade. One morning I asked myself, can I maintain this for a whole year or even many years to come? This is exactly the point where many people fail. They can keep their enthusiasm for a day, a week, or even a month, but then their passion slowly dies out. Success, unfortunately, does not come from short bursts of effort. It comes from steady efforts repeated over and over, regardless of temporary emotions. Mr. Shoaf said to me, "Jim, discipline is the bridge that connects dreams with reality. Without discipline, every dream is only an illusion." I realized that discipline is not the enemy of freedom, but the very foundation of freedom. When you have financial discipline, you are free from debt. When you have discipline in health habits, you are free to enjoy a strong body. When you have discipline in learning, you are free to open vast career opportunities. Success does not come from one great action, but from thousands of small actions repeated with iron discipline. Think about it. You want a healthy body, but constantly skip workouts, eat excessively. Can you achieve it? Of course not. Similarly, you want to be wealthy, but spend impulsively without saving or investing. Will wealth come to you? Absolutely not. Discipline is the foundation. But to go far, you also need a companion: perseverance. You may start with discipline, but only perseverance will help you finish the journey. Life will test you, placing obstacles in your way. On days when you are tired, discouraged, and want to give up, perseverance is what will lift you up. I remember in the early years of building my career, there were months when I worked tirelessly, but the results were insignificant. Many times I wanted to quit. But then I remembered my goals, remembered the bridge of discipline I had stepped onto. I told myself, if I stop today, all the effort before will be wasted. And so I continued. My friend, perseverance does not mean never falling, but standing up after every fall. Successful people are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to quit. Ask yourself, are you willing to continue even when you haven't seen results yet? Do you have enough patience to plant seeds, nurture them every day, and believe they will sprout one day? If your answer is yes, you already possess one of the most important qualities to attract success. So the third principle I want you to engrave deeply is, this discipline is the bridge, perseverance is the strength. Together they turn goals into reality. Part 4, right mindset and habits. Have you ever noticed that the things you repeat every day are gradually shaping your future? The future is not some random event that suddenly happens tomorrow, but the direct result of the habits you cultivate today. People often say you will never rise above the level of your daily habits, and I believe this is completely true. You may have great dreams, but if your habits do not align with those dreams, then every effort will become meaningless. Let's take a simple example. You want to be healthy, but your eating habits are full of sweets and fast food plus laziness and exercise. Can you achieve your health goals? Of course not. Likewise, if you want success, but your habits are procrastination, laziness, and wasting hours aimlessly on social media, then success will never knock on your door. I once went through such a period. After meeting Mr. Schroff, I began examining every one of my habits. What did I usually do in the morning? Who did I spend time with? What did I allow to enter my mind? And I soon realized that to change my life, I had to change even the smallest habits. Mr. Schroff taught me, Jim's success is not about giant leaps. It is built from small steps repeated every day. I began building new habits, reading at least 30 minutes every day, writing down the things I learned, planning my work before going to bed, waking up early to start the day proactively. At first glance, these seem small, but after months and years, I realized they had completely transformed who I was. I became more focused, more clear-minded, and most importantly, I began attracting new opportunities. Because, my friend, this world operates by a very simple principle: you attract what resonates with you. People with good habits attract good opportunities. Those who maintain positive thinking attract positive relationships. Ask yourself, which of my habits are pulling me away from success? Which habits need to be cultivated to bring me closer to my goals? One of the most important habits is cultivating positive thinking. The mind is like soil. If you let weeds, doubt, fear, pessimism grow, you cannot plant flowers, belief, hope, vision. But if you patiently sow good seeds, through books, quality relationships, positive experiences, you will see your mind gradually turn into a blooming garden. So this fourth principle is very clear. Change your habits, and you will change your life. Cultivate positive thinking, and you will attract positive results. Remember, success is not what you do once, but what you do every single day. Part 5, relationships and environment that influence success. There is an old saying, tell me who your 5 closest friends are, and I will tell you your future. And I believe that saying is still true today. Because, my friend, relationships are the mirror reflecting the person you will become. When I was young, I often spent time with people who had no goals. They lived day by day talking idly about the weather-boring jobs and sometimes endless complaints. I realized that when I stayed around them too long, I became like them, lazy, discouraged, and resigned. But then I met Mr. Schroff. He not only taught me knowledge, but also pulled me into a completely different environment, a circle of friends who had dreams, goals, and discipline. They talked about ideas, about books, about opportunities, about how to become better each day. And you know what? Just by being near them, I changed. That is the power of environment. The environment is like the climate, and you are like a seed. If the seed is sown on dry soil lacking sunlight, it can hardly grow. But if that seed is placed in fertile soil with enough light and water, it will thrive. Look back at your life. Who are the people you spend most of your time with? Do your daily conversations bring positive or negative energy? Is the environment around you lifting you up or dragging you down? Here is a sometimes painful truth. Not everyone in your life's journey will walk with you. When you change, when you crave more, some people will leave you. They don't want to read the books you read. They don't want to talk about the big ideas you pursue. And that is normal. You don't have to cut off everything, but you must be selective. Choose those who bring you faith, encouragement, and challenges that help you grow. Because as a proverb says, iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. I once witnessed a miraculous change in my own life simply by changing my environment. From a poor young man, I began to know successful entrepreneurs, people who lived with discipline and vision. I learned how they thought, how they acted, how they kept high standards in everything. And gradually, I too became part of that world. My friend, remember, this success is not a lonely journey. You need the right companions. You need a community that nurtures your dreams instead of extinguishing them. So this fifth principle for you is choose your environment and relationships wisely, because you will become the average of the people you spend the most time with. If you want to soar high, stay close to those who already fly high. If you want to grow, connect with people who never stop growing. When you are near them, you will be lifted up, and conversely, when you are near negative people, you will be pulled down. Success is cultivated not only in your mind, but also in the soil of the environment where you live. Make sure that soil is fertile enough to nurture the great person you are becoming. Part 6, personal responsibility and the power of self-mastery. There is one of the greatest lessons I learned from Mr. Schroff, and it forever changed the way I look at life. Jim never blamed circumstances. Don't hand over control of your life to anyone. You are the one responsible for every result you achieve. When I was young, I was just like many others. When I failed, I blamed the economy. When I was broke, I blamed the small paycheck. When I was tired, I blamed the boss for being unfair. I always had a long list of reasons to justify why I didn't go further. But the truth, every time I blamed, I stripped away my own power. You see, as long as you still believe I am poor because of society, I fail because of my family, or I cannot succeed because of circumstances, then as long as that's the case, you are still handing the key of your life to others. You become a victim instead of the master. Mr. Chof helped me understand this. When you take 100% responsibility for your life, that is the moment you take back 100% of the power to change it. I began changing with small things. If I was late, I didn't blame the traffic. I admitted I hadn't planned well enough. If a project failed, I didn't blame the market. I asked myself what I could have done differently. If I didn't reach my goals, I didn't blame luck. I looked back at my habits and discipline. Do you see the miracle? When I took responsibility, I was no longer trapped by helplessness. On the contrary, I felt empowered. I could fix, learn, and move forward. My friend, personal responsibility doesn't mean you have to do everything alone. It means you take ownership of your choices. From choosing who to walk with, to choosing the attitude to face challenges, to choosing your daily actions. I once met a young entrepreneur who complained to me that he failed because he didn't meet the right partner. I asked him who chose that partner. He went silent. The truth is, even when others let you down, you are still the one who chose them. And that lesson will help you become wiser for future decisions. Ask yourself, am I taking 100% responsibility for my current results? Or am I still finding excuses to blame? If everything in this life is the result of my choices, how would I choose differently starting today? There is a saying I really like. When you point a finger to blame others, remember that 3 fingers are pointing back at you. So this 6th principle is take absolute responsibility for your life. When you master yourself, you master your destiny. You cannot control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. You cannot decide the rain or the sun, but you can decide the attitude you choose to walk under the rain. And it is exactly those attitudes, choices, and responsibilities that will determine who you become, as well as the success you will attract. Part 7, positive attitude and gratitude. Have you ever noticed that 2 people can face the same situation, but end up with 2 completely different outcomes? One person sees challenges and complains, while the other sees opportunities and takes action. What creates the difference? Attitude. A positive attitude is like a magnet. It not only attracts opportunities to you, but also attracts positive people, resources, and new ideas. On the other hand, a negative attitude is like barbed wire. It pushes everything away, even the best opportunities. When I was young, I once lived in pessimism. I always thought I was unlucky. I felt jealous when others succeeded, and I believed that fate had already decided my life. But then I discovered that this very way of thinking was the reason I was stuck. A mind full of doubt, fear, and complaints can never be creative or see the path forward. And then I learned the secret of positive attitude begins with gratitude. Think about it. When you wake up and spend a few minutes being grateful for still having health, for having family, for having the opportunity to work, your mind immediately opens up to receive better things. Gratitude is like the key that opens the door for positive energy to flow into your life. Mr. Schoaf once said to me, Jim, count your blessings instead of your troubles. When you focus on the good, you will have more energy to handle difficulties. From then on, I practiced the habit of writing down 3 things I was grateful for each night. At first, they were small: a good meal, a fun conversation, a good book. But gradually, I realized that these very small things created a full and happy life. My friend, a positive attitude does not mean you ignore difficulties. It means that instead of only seeing darkness, you choose to see the glimmer of light and believe it will take you further. That is how successful people face life, not with naive daydreams, but by choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems. Ask yourself, when I fail, do I choose to complain or to learn? When I face challenges, do I choose to give up or to persevere? Every day, do I spend time being grateful for what I have? Because you will see a miracle the more you are grateful, the more reasons you are given to be grateful. I have witnessed many people change their lives just by changing their attitude. A salesperson I knew kept failing not because he lacked skills, but because he brought negative energy to customers, worry, doubt, lack of trust. When he learned to practice gratitude and maintain a positive attitude, everything changed. He smiled more, believed more, and his sales results grew dramatically. Success in the end is not how much money you have in the bank, but how you feel on the journey. And it is a positive attitude together with gratitude that will turn that journey into a meaningful experience no matter what the destination is. So this seventh principle is very clear. Maintain a positive attitude and cultivate gratitude every day, because a grateful heart is the strongest magnet to attract success. Part 8. Contribution and value, becoming a person who creates value for the world. Have you ever asked yourself, why do some people seem to attract success naturally while others struggle all their lives? The answer lies in one simple principle: success is always attracted to value. Look at the most successful businesses in the world, from Apple, Google, to the small shops in your neighborhood. Their common point is not luck, but that they create real value for others. Apple doesn't just sell phones. They deliver experiences and creativity. A small eatery doesn't just sell food. They bring convenience, joy, and connection. In personal life, it's the same. If you are only a consumer, always wanting to receive but rarely giving, it will be hard to attract success. But when you become someone who creates value, you will see opportunities come to you naturally. I remember Mr. Schoff reminded me, Jim, always ask yourself, what can I do to become more valuable? Because when you become valuable, you won't need to chase success. It will chase you. At that time, I began to change my perspective. Instead of only thinking, how can I make more money? I asked myself, how can I bring more value to my work, to my customers, to the community? And amazingly, when I focused on giving money, opportunities and relationships came to me more than ever before. My friend, remember, success is proportional to the problems you solve. If you solve small problems, you will have small success. If you dare to face and solve bigger problems, you will open the door to greater success. So ask yourself, what problems am I solving for others? Am I creating value or just existing? How can I contribute more to my work, family, and society? Sometimes creating value doesn't require anything grand. A smile, an encouraging word, a small act of help can make a big difference in someone's day. And these things, when accumulated, will make you a person that success naturally comes to. But there is one important thing. Value must go hand in hand with integrity. You may earn profits through dishonesty, but you will never create lasting success. People may forget what you said or did, but they will never forget the feeling you gave them. And if that feeling is trust, safety, respect, then you have created an invaluable value. I was once reminded by my mentor with a sentence, I will never forget, Jim. The way you do one small thing reflects the way you will do everything big. If you are careless in small things, then gradually you will lose others' trust in big things. On the other hand, if you always work with integrity and thoroughness, success will not only come, it will stay. My friend, this eighth principle is don't just ask, what will I get? Ask, what will I give? Because the more you contribute, the more you attract. Remember, life does not reward you according to what you wish for, but according to the value you bring to others. True success is not about how much you accumulate, but about how many good marks you leave in other people's lives. Part 9. Patience and adaptability. The power of persistence and flexibility. There is a reality that many people don't want to hear. Success never comes overnight. It is not like flipping a light switch. Today you plant a seed, tomorrow you already see a grown tree. Success is like planting a tree. You plant the seed, you water it, you take care of it, and most importantly, you have to wait. In today's world where everything happens instantly, from social media, fast delivery to instant messaging, people are losing patience. They want results after a week, a month, while true success requires many years of training and perseverance. I once made this mistake. When I was young, I thought that just by working hard for a few months, I could change my life. But then I soon realized patience is not just about waiting. It is about continuing to act even when you haven't seen results yet. There's a great saying, haste makes waste. When you are too impatient, you easily overlook the important lessons along the way. And those lessons are what truly make you worthy of lasting success. But patience alone is not enough. Life never goes exactly according to your plan. There will be times when the wind changes, times when the road ahead is blocked. And that's when you need another quality, adaptability. I remember the early days of my business career. I had a detailed plan believing that if I just followed each step, I would reach my goals. But reality was very different. The market changed, customers changed, even opportunities changed. If I stubbornly stuck to the old way, I would have failed. But thanks to knowing how to adapt, trying new ways, learning new skills, approaching customers differently, I was able to move forward. My friend, patience keeps you on the road, but adaptability allows you to continue even when that road changes. Think of a river. The water flows patiently day after day, wearing down even the hardest rock. But when it encounters obstacles, the water doesn't stop. It flows around, finds a new path, and eventually still heads toward the sea. That is the perfect combination of patience and adaptability. Ask yourself, do I have enough patience to keep going, even when I don't see results yet? Am I willing to change my approach when the old path no longer works? Because the truth is, the world never stops changing. What was right yesterday may be wrong today. Successful people are not those who cling tightly to the past, but those who keep their goals steady while being flexible in their methods. I want you to engrave, this patience keeps your fire burning. Adaptability helps you find the way. With both, nothing can stop you. You may fall, you may lose time, but if you persist and stay flexible, you will surely reach your destination. Because success is not for the fastest, but for those who persistently move forward and wisely change when necessary. My friend, we have gone through a long journey together. From my personal story with Mr. Chof to the key principles to become the kind of person who can attract success. Let's take a minute to summarize. Change yourself before expecting the world to change. Set clear goals to guide your actions. Practice discipline and maintain perseverance. Build the right habits and mindset. Choose positive relationships and environments. Take 100% responsibility for your life. Maintain a positive attitude and gratitude. Become a person who creates value and contributes to the world. Be patient and adaptable in the face of challenges. Each principle is a brick. When you put them together, you build the bridge that leads to success. Success is not accidental luck. It is not a gift life gives to a few. It is the reward for those who are willing to become the best version of themselves. Remember, success is not the final destination, but the journey of growth you go through. Success is not measured only by the money in the bank, but also by the peace in your soul, by the value you give to others, and by the example you leave for the next generation. I want to end with one of the quotes I cherish most. If you can master one day, you can master your whole life. And that begins with what you do today. Not tomorrow, not next year. Ask yourself, which of these principles will I start applying immediately? Because just one small action repeated with discipline and faith can change the entire direction of your life. If you find today's lessons useful, I want to invite you to like this video to spread the message to more people. Subscribe to the Jim Rohn Treasures channel to continue receiving valuable lessons from me and from the journeys of those who have succeeded. And finally, leave a comment below. Among today's principles, which one will you apply first? I truly look forward to hearing your answer. You and I both hold an invaluable gift today. Use it wisely, make it the starting step for you to become the person that success itself will seek out.